On this episode, I crash my drone and I show you which settings I use to capture moments like this. You're watching the Adventure series. Hello and welcome to another adventure. Today we're in a place called Outdoor and we just got the cable car up to this beautiful location with mountains all around us, and now we're just snowshoeing through the powdered snow. Beautiful route through the forest, as you can see, and we're going on a ridge walk to another cable car, get that back down, but it should be really nice along the ridge with views all around us. This place is just beautiful. It's so peaceful. Got lots of fresh snow, creating these beautiful smooth hills and a quiet stream beside me. Perfect day for it, really. I've just taken some shots of my dad walking up to this beautiful hut behind me, and yeah, look at this. Amazing. Really out in the woods. Very quiet, very peaceful, just beautiful. So we've been hiking for about an hour now, and we just got to this beautiful viewpoint with views of the mountains all around us with fresh snow on them. It just looks stunning. And now I'm about to get my drone in the air, and I'll talk you through some of my settings, how I go about shooting with a drone, and see what we can get. So first is the ND filter. Now if you're going to shoot with the DJI series, you're going to need an ND filter, and I have a set here with different strengths, so different darknesses. And the reason you need an ND filter when flying a drone is so that you can get the right shutter speed and therefore the right motion blur for your shots. If you have it too quick, then it will look very unnatural and everything will be too sharp. If your shutter speed's too low, then everything will just be a wash of blur and you won't be able to see what's going on. So NDs are really important. It's the first thing you do before you get flying. Get a set, and these are Polar Pro, really good. Haven't failed me, and they're a must for flying a drone. So now that I have my ND filter on my drone, it's time to set flight. So when I'm in the air, I just start looking for compositions. I'll take a few minutes out of my flight time just to look for the best spots in the area. And as you can see, I'm just flying around the landscape, looking for the best shot I can find, looking for that composition with leading lines, rule of thirds, all of that, and hopefully a foreground subject. So I'm just going around this viewpoint here, just trying to find the best shot. I think I'm going to use myself as a foreground with the mountains in the background. Should make for quite a nice shot. Maybe even use this ridge behind me to use as a leading line. So I'm going to go into photo mode. So now I'm in photo mode. I'm going to check my settings. You always want to shoot raw, that's a given, and you want to keep your ISO at 100 at all times. And what I like to do is go into the photo settings, go into the photo type and change it to AEB, which means auto exposure bracketing. And that means because it's a very bright day, there's a lot of harsh light, there's a lot of dark shadows, there's big contrast between them. So by bracketing the exposure, taking 3 exposures, one underexposed, one correctly exposed and one overexposed, I can then in post create a high dynamic range image and get the most detail out of all of those ranges. So that's why I use auto bracketing on my drone. For image ratio 4:3, I usually shoot portrait as well because I mainly post on Instagram and that's where it's going, so stick to 4:3. Image format, always raw. White balance, sunny day, so I've set my white balance to sunny. And for my style, I use a custom style with +1 sharpness, -1 contrast, and -1 saturation. And for the color, I like to use D-Cine-like for photos and D-Log for video. And D-Cine-like is just a bit more contrast, so I retain some of that color and depth information. So now I'm going to put it in portrait mode and frame up my shot. So I'm going to walk to the edge so that it makes for a better shot. So what I'm going to do now is go for a wider shot so you can really see the surroundings, see the landscape and get a perspective of how small I am and how big the mountains are. So now that I've got my shot framed up, I'm going to get into position and make sure it's correctly exposed, and then I'm going to take the 3 exposures and then convert it to a HDR photo. So I'm just going to move the drone around a bit, move myself around a bit, just to get some different compositions. I'm going to always make sure it's in focus before I shoot and shoot away. Here's a helpful tip: when you're shooting portrait, you can actually turn your phone into portrait mode and then you can get a better image and it fills the screen rather than shooting in landscape. So I'm just looking for some more compositions before I switch to video. So what I'm doing now is using this leading line of the path to lead the shot towards the mountains. Make sure I'm focused and then take a photo. I'm actually going to run down there now and get into frame just so it adds another element to the photo. There's a subject there and it gives the whole image a sense of perspective with the mountains in the background. Subject in the foreground really adds to the image. So now that I'm in frame, I'm just going to move about a bit till I feel I'm happy with the composition. About there, I think, and I'm going to shoot away. So I really like this shot, so what I'm going to do now is actually put it into video mode, change it back to landscape, change the color to D-Log so it's even flatter, and line up the shot. I'm going to fly past these trees in the foreground and then past me. With the mountains in the background, should look pretty nice. Just testing the shot here, make sure I don't crash into anything. Preparation is pretty important in these shots because I'm going to be walking while I shoot, so I need to make sure I'm not going to hit anything because I won't be able to look at the drone. So all lined up, check my settings. My shutter speed is 1/50th, which is double the shutter speed that I'm shooting at, 24 frames a second. And I think I'm ready. I'm just going to get into position so I can walk into frame, add a bit of motion, and let's go for one. I just decided to fly my FPV drone, and straight away I got it up in the air, flew it around for 10 seconds or so, and it lost signal and crashed into the pile of snow. It's full of snow now, and the GoPro fell out, the GoPro mount broke, the GoPro SD card came out, so I didn't get any footage of it. So yeah, still a learning curve, lot to learn with FPV. Maybe next time. So that's it for another adventure. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something new. See you in the next one.